it's something else.
Next Tuesday, in one instant, his powers will be taken and passed on to someone else.
I just don't understand what's wrong with me.
Your powers aren't coming back.
You don't have to hide anything from me.
Nothing on this earth can stop me.
And all new Smallville, next week on the WB's New Tuesday.
Straight ahead on the news at 10. This nun is making shocking allegations against a member of the NYPD. She says she was roughed up by a cop on her way to helping the homeless. A mystery at a school in Queens. Nervous parents want to know what sent dozens of their children to the hospital. We're live with the answer. Plus, the frantic search for a little girl who was snatched from her home. Tonight, her parents plead for her return.
This Marine reservist booked airline tickets with his wife, but then got called to duty after September 11th. When he couldn't get a refund, he called Help Me Howard. And who is the most powerful celebrity in Hollywood? Tony Senecal takes a look at a new report, and you can cast your vote in our Tell Us at 10.
Live from New York, this is the WB11 News at 10.
Good evening, everyone. The NYPD is facing a lawsuit tonight from a woman who claims she was mistreated by a police officer. And the woman is a nun.
The nun says she was on her way to help the homeless when she ran into a traffic detour. She says when she got confused, a policewoman verbally assaulted her and then roughed her up. Jackie Hyland is live in the High Bridge section of the Bronx with details on this. Jackie.
Heidi, and those that know Sister Loria Fitzgerald describe her as a compassionate woman, one who has spent the past 15 years feeding the homeless here on the streets of the South Bronx. But now the nun is filing an $11 million lawsuit against the city and the police department after she says she was wrongly roughed up and arrested by a female police officer.
In my household, as I was saying, that we didn't even use the word cop growing up because we had such respect for the police. We always said police.
All of her life, Sister Loria Fitzgerald has held the highest respect for police officers and the work they do. After all, her own father was once a police officer. But all of that changed on the morning of November 8th when she came face to face with a different side to the law.
It was a shattering experience. I couldn't imagine that what was the truth couldn't be told, and that no one believed me. Everyone thought that I was the criminal and I had done this terrible thing.
This is Sister Loria's story. A nun for 15 years with the Sisters of St. Dominic. She was on her way to work with the homeless on the streets of the South Bronx on the morning of November 8th when she stopped at a red light at River Avenue and 162nd Street. Ahead, a car accident had prompted police to put flares on the street and divert traffic. The 44-year-old sister says she misunderstood the direction she was supposed to drive. That's when she noticed Officer Kim Davis in a rage outside her van.
And she was in such a rage, screaming. I rolled down my window and I said I didn't understand what to do. She yelled back at me, any idiot would know what to do.
Unhappy with how Officer Davis allegedly spoke to her, Sister Loria double-parked her van with the intention of getting the officer's name and shield number. But before she could do that,
she said, I've had enough, and she grabbed my arm and twisted it.
Sister Loria spent the next 6 hours in police custody, some of it behind bars at the 44th Precinct. She was fingerprinted and photographed, all the while scared out of her wits. Finally, she was released, but charged with obstruction of justice and disorderly conduct. Tonight, Sister Loria wants justice of her own, so she's suing the city and the police department for $11 million. Now, tonight, the NYPD is not making any comments about the lawsuit. As for Officer Davis, word is, following the incident, she was out of work for 5 weeks. Meantime, Sister Loria is due back in court February 11th. She says if she wins her lawsuit, that she will put the money toward a religious fund. We're live tonight in the Bronx. Jackie Hyland for the WB11 News at 10. Jim, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. Other news now. Parents at a school in Queens are demanding answers tonight. This after teachers and students broke out in a mysterious rash today. A rash that sent dozens of children at PS 161 to the hospital. Pamela Chan is live in Richmond now, in Richmond Hill. She joins us now with the story. Pamela.
Jim, the substance may be a mystery, but its effect was very clear. 60 people broke out with the rash here at PS 161. The 53 children and 7 adults have all been treated and released for the skin irritation. As much as people want to know what caused the itching and burning, investigators are having a hard time figuring it out. Tonight, though, the building has been thoroughly cleaned, and the Board of Ed says school will be open tomorrow. Worried parents rushing to PS 161 in Richmond Hill, Queens this morning after word spread that dozens of 5th graders broke out with a mysterious skin rash.
It burns, like we got it from the library.
Vanessa Batista is one of 53 students and 7 adults who came in contact with the itchy substance. They were all loaded on a bus and taken to Jamaica Hospital. No one knows what caused the rash or how it spread, but it appears to have broken out this morning during a 5th grade reading lesson in the library.
Less serious have been washed down in the auditorium, their face and hands and arms. The more serious, the 3 taking a shower in the shower room that we have in the basement of this building.
As administrators and emergency personnel were handling the situation, angry and concerned parents were kept outside by police for as long as 2 hours.
My wife tried to get in there, and they kept pushing it back and pushing against the door. And it's very difficult not knowing what's going on.
And the rumors were swirling. Talk of powder falling out of books, someone playing a prank with itching powder, or a science project gone awry. Truth is, hazmat teams can't figure out what the substance is or where exactly it came from. They can only say everything has been checked out and the building is safe.
We found no physical contaminants there, nothing in the air. The whole school came up clean according to our monitor equipment.
We caught up with Vanessa tonight. On her cheek, a faint trace of the rash lingers, but she says she's ready to go back to school.
I'm fine. I'm going back to school no more, like if nothing happened.
And doctors told Vanessa not to touch the rash and it will heal. Vanessa says she thinks she got the rash after touching a friend who had been in the library. She says she never was in the library today. Another curious thing, a smaller group of students did not break out with the rash until much later in the afternoon, adding to the mystery of all this. And even though parents say they are willing to send their children back to school tomorrow, they are very uneasy not knowing the cause of this. We're live tonight in Richmond Hill, Queens. I'm Pamela Chan for the WB11 News at 10. Kaidi, back to you.
All right, thanks, Pamela. And a scary ride on the school bus today for a half-dozen young students in Queens. A private school bus tipped onto its side, there it is, and landed on somebody's front lawn after being hit by a car in Whitestone. This happened on the corner of 17th Avenue and 149th. The children on board were just 4 and 5 years old. They were taken to the hospital and they were treated for minor injuries.
It was once one of the nation's most admired charities, but tonight the reputation of Harlem's Hale House is in ruins after today's indictment of the former head of the charity and her husband. Authorities say they took hundreds of thousands of dollars meant to help poor infants. Now New York's Attorney General says he's going to get the money back. Julian Phillips reports.
The defendants misused over $700,000. We have sought civil forfeiture to recoup over $1 million.
A blistering 72-count indictment against Dr. Lorraine Hale and her husband Jesse DeVore capped an investigation that uncovered one of the worst cases of charitable abuse in the city's history. Forged checks, diverted funds, false bank accounts, and a no-show board of directors, all to support their personal property taxes, legal expenses, a jacuzzi, and DeVore's theatrical production.
Money that should have gone to those children for the care of those children was used for personal gain.
State Attorney General Elliot Spitzer says Hale House, which became a worldwide symbol of hope for drug-addicted babies, took a downward spiral sometime after Dr. Lorraine Hale took over operations after her mother, the legendary Mother Hale, died in 1992. An investigation into alleged monetary abuse resulted in Hale resigning her $200,000 a year job last May. In an effort to save the ailing charity, Spitzer formed an independent board headed by former U.S. Attorney Zachary Carter.
There's great progress to report in terms of the upgrading of the care of the children, of programs that we foresee in the future will be implemented with the resources that have been generously provided over the years by Hale House's very loyal donor base.
Carter says a program has been designed to reunite children with their parents or place them in caring homes or agencies. A program, he says, not implemented by Dr. Lorraine Hale. Meanwhile, the Hales, who were released on their own recognizance, released this statement through their attorneys.
We've endeavored to settle our disagreements with the Attorney General amicably. We were engaged in discussions which we believed were making progress. This precipitous and unnecessary arrest of our clients, occurring as it did while discussions were ongoing and making progress, is as insulting as it is degrading.
In a fact-finding report produced by an agency Dr. Hale herself hired, her husband Jesse DeVore is quoted as calling the kids cash cows. Both are due back in court on February 19th. I'm Julian Phillips with the WB11 News at 10.
Police in Suffolk County announced today they've broken up a huge gambling ring. It was based in Queens, but allegedly took in bets from as far away as Europe and the Caribbean. And as Jill Conway reports now, this was no penny ante operation.
We estimated in one 7-day period at least 1,400 bets.
It was an extensive gambling operation cops say netted $30 million a year in wagers and landed these 8 men behind bars.
They're accepting bets maybe every minute. So they're constantly moving for the 2 or 3 hours that they're open during a particular betting period. And they constantly accepting the bets, constantly writing down, giving of odds. So it's a very active place for that period of time.
Suffolk County prosecutors say the men, including 2 father and son teams, worked out of 2 offices in Queens, but they were arrested last night by Suffolk police.
They accept the bets in Queens. Suffolk plays a role because bettors were placing bets from here. The operation would pay those bettors in Suffolk County. They would also collect money here.
They also allegedly collected from gamblers in 9 other states, as well as in Europe and the Caribbean. The men, they say, were in business for 8 years and made millions in profits. Using wiretaps, undercover detectives watched and waited for months, making their move just one day after the Super Bowl, what they say is the biggest moneymaker for bookies.
We were able to obtain almost $15,000 in cash, approximately $55,000 in other accounts, and 5 vehicles.
The 8 men are charged with promoting gambling. If convicted, they face up to 4 years in prison. But the DA says this case is far from over. The men could face additional charges of money laundering. In Hauppauge, I'm Jill Conway for the WB11 News at 10.
2 firefighters were injured today fighting a 4-alarm fire that destroyed a home in Caldwell, New Jersey. The homeowner was in the house at the time but escaped uninjured. Officials say a malfunction in the boiler caused the fire. Initial reports claim the house was the one used for exterior shots for The Sopranos, but that turned out to be false. The mansion used for the hit HBO series is actually located 1 town away in North Caldwell.
Investigators in Newark say they may have a lead tonight into the cause of yesterday's apartment fire that killed 2 young sisters. People who live there say the building had been without heat for a week, and space heaters and ovens were often used to keep warm. A fire department inspector cited the owners of the building last month when a fuel oil leak was discovered in the heating system. The girl's father was arraigned on child endangerment charges today. Authorities say he left the 8- and 6-year-old girls home alone.
Heated words tonight from Mayor Bloomberg from some New York firefighters. They say the new mayor has not made enough of an effort to attend the funerals of their colleagues killed on September 11th. Bloomberg insists that's not true. Glenn Thompson got both sides of the story.
City firefighters say the new mayor has been snubbing funerals since he took office, even celebrating Groundhog Day while an anguished family buried yet another firefighter. In all, critics say the new mayor has missed 5 funerals or memorials since he took office, unlike his predecessor, who paid his respects at an endless stream of services.
Giuliani was there for almost, if he couldn't attend it, a representative was there. But he made a large portion of funerals and memorials.
I think priority should be a funeral, not a Groundhog Day.
But Mayor Mike and his fire commissioner, who did attend Saturday's funeral, burrowed in, saying his honor was with the groundhog early in the morning and later had a scheduling conflict.
I understand he had another memorial service, a personal friend of his, that day.
The mayor bristling when asked why he has yet to attend a single funeral or memorial service while being mayor.
That's not true. Our fire commissioner was there, and the fire commissioner does represent City Hall. He is, not only is he a commissioner, he is a commissioner that reports directly to the mayor. Look, we have to memorialize and try to rebuild. And you just cannot be every place.
After all the negative publicity, the mayor promises that in the near future he'll try to attend as many funerals and memorial services as possible. At Chelsea Piers, I'm Glenn Thompson for the WB11 News at 10.
Famous people attended class today at the High School of Leadership and Public Service in Lower Manhattan. The school, located just blocks from Ground Zero, reopened its doors a few days ago. The big name stopped by today to offer a few words of encouragement. Pauline Lee reports.
I think you got back Wednesday last week. How do you feel?
Led by actor William Baldwin, a group of stars took on their newest roles as teachers to welcome students back to the High School of Leadership and Public Service. Located near Ground Zero, this school, with an enrollment of more than 500, officially reopened last week.
If seeing me on TV and being here inspires you, so be it. I've done my job. I love it. Because you inspired me. Y'all coming back to the school after what happened, that's inspiring me.
Tracy Morgan from the cast of Saturday Night Live and SNL graduate Al Franken were among those on hand.
We're trying to be on message here. Don't leave. Certainly not while we're talking to you.
Wanted the kids to have smiles in their faces, to see some wonderful people who just want to come and say, congratulations, you're welcome, and keep moving forward.
The school, which is about a block from Ground Zero, was used as a temporary morgue following the terrorist attack. It is one of the last public schools in the area to reopen.
It feels good to be back where I belong, because the old school, we definitely didn't fit, and it was very crowded.
After spending the past 5 months at the High School of Fashion Industries in Chelsea, students say it's a relief to be back.
You got screwed a little bit this year.
The celebrities belong to a group called the Creative Coalition. Students say their visit made quite an impression.
A lot of kids now that are not motivated, and with people like this coming to see us, it makes us more confident.
The stars say the feelings are mutual.
Ain't no stopping us now. Look around. This right here speaks for itself.
In Lower Manhattan, I'm Pauline Liu for the WB11 News at 10.
Very cool. When we return on the News at 10, Mr. G's first look at weather.
Plus, it was chain reaction terror. 2 huge pileups leave a wake of destruction and death. We'll tell you where this happened.
Even tougher charges for Taliban turncoat John Walker today, but you will not believe what his lawyer had to say.
And he bought his plane tickets before he was called to go off to war. But it was a battle for one Marine to get his money back from the airline until he called Help Me Howard. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
It's Fed on the Frog on the WB Wednesday. Dawson is directing, but it's Joey who is making a scene. An all-new Dawson's Creek. Then, the crime reporter and the coroner are growing closer until a stranger arrives.
We're alerting surrounding counties to a potential suspect in the area.
Ellie?
Mike?
Naked, and not dead.
An all-new Glory Days after Dawson's Creek.
Tomorrow, starting at 8, only on the WB11.
This is Doug McDonald. Doug is a normal, healthy man. But there's something different about Doug. There's something that's on his mind. And the sooner Doug deals with it, the better off he'll be.
This portion of the news brought to you by Volkswagen and your tri-state Volkswagen dealers.
Hey, it was cold, okay?
Yeah, it was cold.
It was, but you know, it was sunny, which made it okay.
Yeah.
Brisk.
Yeah. I don't think it was that bad as what she's saying. Let's go to Mr. G and find out what his interpretation is.
It's winter. It's supposed to be cold. And finally we got it, everybody. It happened at 6 a.m. when you had 3 blankets and hopefully huddling and cuddling. The city got to 19 degrees. The wind chill factor got down to -7. White Plains, you were at 14. And you had a wind chill factor of -10. 33 now in the city, 28 degrees in White Plains. It is a milder night from Andover to Newark to Trenton, Wrightstown into Allentown. For tonight, milder. Southwesterly winds 26, 20 degrees in White Plains. For tomorrow, still milder with temperatures right around 40 degrees, 36 White Plains. Show you 2 radar shots. Here's the first one. Nice and easy, does it. A couple of snowflakes.
You're telling me that these rebels acted entirely on their own, without any assurances whatsoever from us?
The state has had absolutely no prior contact, Mr. President.
possible, Mr. President, that a CIA agent, totally without authority, may have led them to believe that we would help, that a CIA
You guys are fucking with the wrong president. Get the director up to the compound, now. If we wanted to help them out, could we?
As we had no prior knowledge, sir, there's nothing we can do.
How long can they last?
Well, I'm sure the CIA can give you large reports and lots of drafts, but by the time you finish them, it would be all over. The rebels aren't going to live to see the sunset.
We are the power, we are the people. This is my song for the revolution.
Mr. Bobby McBain?
Yeah, he's up there.